yourself to the dark side. You've taken everything from me!
All right, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut on this one because all I'm going to do is start talking shit about the prequels, and then people get pissed off at me and tell me how wrong I am and go fuck myself and all that kind of stuff. So, you know,
I will come to your apartment. I will come to your apartment and I will slap you in the face with
Jesus.
my Master's replica Count Dooku lightsaber.
See, and that alone right there explains why I have problems with Star Wars. Like the name Count Dooku alone. You know what I mean? It's just like that's some shit a 5-year-old would make up. Count Dooku. You know, that sound like shit. Sound like Dookie too much. I mean, really?
No.
Yeah, it does. I don't, Jason, goddamn it! Don't tell me you one of these people who defends the prequels too.
You're not aware of this? You're not aware of my reputation? I like the prequels. They're flawed, but
you are bonkers,
you.
mate. What is wrong with you? You need help.
Yes.
Professional help.
I don't care. Bring it. No, I think they're a hell of a lot of fun. They don't hold a candle to the originals at all, but yeah, I think I've said this many times back in Leog that if these movies existed without the baggage of matching up to Star Wars, they would still be huge freaking movies. They would still be so insanely popular, and without a bunch of fanboys saying George Lucas raped my childhood, blah blah blah. You know,
because he did. He raped all of our childhoods with the prequels and Indiana Jones 4.
Yeah.
You're gonna protect that now?
And Nick is still a child, and he can't get over this shit. I mean, he's never gonna have a normal adulthood because of this shit that Star Wars did to him.
Hey,
George Lucas pretty much
Nick,
went in and touched him.
How old
I'm
are you?
23. I'm 23.
23? You don't know what it's like, okay?
I do know because I watched Indiana Jones 4 and I was like, what the fuck was that? You know, I was all pumped up. I was having a great time.
We're not talking about that movie. We're talking about Star Wars.
Okay, Star Wars. All right. Okay, I was proper excited when The Phantom Menace came out. Like, everyone was cheering, whatever. And then they start talking about, like, fucking trade routes and, you know, you got Liam Neeson being this boring old bugger. I'm just like, this isn't Star Wars. What the hell is this? Yeah. I felt like I was watching the news or something, you know?
Damn, Nick, I thought you were 13. You're 23?
Oh, what's your name?
Well, it turns out that Jason's a fucking 13-year-old now. I can't believe you, man. You know, I was going, you a bitch asshole. You know that? You know, at first,
punk asshole.
Yeah. At first, you know, I let it slide with Spider-Man 3, but this is really,
Wait,
wow, man.
You like Spider-Man 3?
I like Spider-Man 3.
God damn it!
God, you're such an emo wannabe. You know that? Fucking hell, that film.
Again, that movie has its problems. It's not as good as 1 or 2.
Oh,
but yeah,
you can't recognize a good Bond film with Pierce Brosnan.
Hey, goddamn it! Now wait a minute, hold on. We already went through that discussion. You ain't got nothing to stand on there. Anyway, people, we're talking about all this Star Wars stuff. I'm just prepping myself. I'm gonna kind of pull myself out of this. For one thing, I didn't play The Force Unleashed 2, but also, like I said, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan today anymore, and so I'm going to not try to talk too much shit about the franchise. However, we do have Kevin, who's asleep again. Kevin, you all right? You there?
Yeah, man, I'm here. I'm not sure whose side to take in that whole argument anyway. I was going to ask how old Nick was on this episode, too, so I'm glad Jason did. He said he never heard of Contra last time we talked, and I was thinking to myself, man, how old am I if you've never heard of Contra before?
Yeah.
Pretty old, dude. You know, I mean, like, the only game I got was Sega Mega Drive. I mean, the game console. Then I started from forwards. You know,
I think Contra was on the Mega Drive. So I think
so you got no excuse.
I think you just missed it or something.
Well, the only games I had in the Mega Drive was The Lion King and stuff like that. So,
oh God. Okay, Simba.
It's funny because
go change your diaper and let the big boy talk.
That came out in what, 95, 96? So you can't slag me off there, you know. I mean, I'm the more mature one because you thought The Phantom Menace was a great film. So
yeah,
I didn't say it was a great film. I said it was fun.
Yeah, you are the grown up here, Nick, in this situation. I can't give you too much shit this podcast. It's funny because Kevin was asking. I was wondering how old you were. Like Kevin feels relieved, like he wants to hit on you now, Nick. You know, like he was just waiting on you, like the Olsen twins to turn 18. Now,
sorry, mate, I'm a guy. Not gonna work.
But you know what? So we have Nick here, of course. The hodgepodge, and then we have old
Nicky Poo.
Yeah, Nicky Poo. You shut up, man. We got old bitch ass Murphy up here, the Murph. But I brought something else into the mix here. Now, I thought that we had a good crew, and we do. And I thought we were all knowledgeable, but I found another element out there. Professor Jeff. This guy gets through games so quick. He knows about games so much. We were all eating the other night. He's actually one of the artists on our team. But one night we started talking about games when we were having dinner, and my ears started smoking because I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about after a certain point. He knows his shit. So I decided to bring Jeff in. Jeff, you there?
Yep. Hello.
And plus, I think he just sounds like a professor. Listen to how he talks. He's got that little nerdy professor voice.
Well, if you look at the Force Unleashed 1 from a critical perspective...
But so we have Jeff, who's going to be joining some of the podcast here, and I wanted Jeff to come in too because I think that we have a big range of opinions. Now we have Jason, who has finished the game and has his opinion on it, guess what it is, and then we have Kevin, who played some of the game, hasn't got past it, but I'd like to know his first impressions about the game,
right.
At least what he's done with it. And then Jeff has finished the game too, and I think he has probably a differing opinion than Mr. Murph over here. So we'll go ahead and get into a discussion about the game, talk about what's right with it, what's wrong with it, what people enjoyed about it. And then I think it'd even be kind of fun to talk about, well, depending on what side you're on here, what would make a good Star Wars game at this point. I have some ideas of my own. But anyway, Kevin, so not Kevin, but Jason, you finished the whole game, right?
Yes, I devoured it. I loved it.
Really? So you loved it?
Yeah, I thought it was a hell of a lot of fun. Flawed. Again, it's got its problems, but here's the argument, okay? You are this super crazy ninja Jedi, the most powerful Jedi ever. It's like ridiculously powerful, and you're running around tearing shit up. What else does anyone want?
Well, that's one of the complaints about the game is that you are too powerful. Like, you go in and you just force push yourself through all these enemies, and there's after a while it becomes kind of tedious. Now, that's what I heard. I'm not taking sides because I haven't played it. But.
No. What? Yeah, you got a bunch of people in a room and you walk in and then you just start tearing shit up and force pushing people and throwing them against the wall and shooting them with lightning. What? Who wouldn't want to do that? It's just a total adolescent Jedi power fantasy. Just this fucking orgasm of the dark side. It's awesome.
Well, in this one, the story is that you what's your name? Star Killer.
Star Killer. Yeah,
that sounds like a rapper. But anyway, you're Star Killer, and you come in and you died in the last game. For spoiler for those who haven't played the last game yet. Sorry, but so in this one, you're a clone. You return to do Darth Vader's bidding, I guess.
You are still haunted by visions.
Yes, Master.
They are the memories of a dead man, a side effect of the cloning process.
Why is this happening to me?
The accelerated cloning process is still imperfect. Those who came before you went mad within months.
Did you turn on him because you want to save your love interest, who was the pilot in the last game too?
Juno, yeah.
Juno Eclipse.
Yeah. So you kind of you turn against the dark side and turn against Darth Vader, and I guess he's just throwing all the shit at you that he can to like stop you along the way, which I guess can be kind of fun because in this game, it says some of the improvements that they've done is that you can, well, including what they did in the last game, is that you can just do so many different things with the Force, including. And now this is a teen-rated game, but you can go in and do like really dark stuff with the Force here. Like you can use Jedi mind tricks to make stormtroopers kill themselves, or
it's awesome.
You can actually dismember people in this game now.
Yeah, just going berserk on somebody with a lightsaber. Can you guys feel my nipples through Skype? Can you feel
I would rather not, Jason. Let's continue.
Okay, take my word for it. I am getting like a lightsaber-sized erection just thinking about hacking stormtroopers up and then doing the mind trick and just saying, "I'm a rebel spy," and then he starts shooting his friends. That's awesome.
Can y'all hear those? Can y'all hear that sound? Like that's Jason's long ass nipples going like
Exactly.
His nipples are fighting each other right now. He's got like a lightsaber battle going on in his chest. But
no, I was just saying it is cool though that they actually let you play a Jedi to its fullest potential, which is like even in the movies and stuff, you always hear about how tough the Jedis are and that they take out armies and everything. But most of the time in the movies, they just stand around and talk to each other or whatever, and they a couple of like laser blasts or whatever. But this is like you're literally taking on like entire armies, which is pretty fun.
So your first impression of the game is pretty cool, Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, I like it more. I like the first one, and I think that this one is more polished than the first one. I do agree that maybe you're a little bit overpowering for what you're doing, but it's still fun. It's a hack and slash, It's a good time.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing, because some people say it depends on what you're expecting. I think some people are expecting more of a tactical game, and they've tried to make the challenges bigger in here because they have some enemies and they mix it up. Some enemies you can defeat with using like the Force as far as like Jedi mind tricks, and some enemies you have to use a lightsaber, and they kind of mix it up so you got to figure out what powers to use at what time. But some people just say, well, that's cool, but it just eventually turns into like a hack and slash or a brawler. It's just that you're using the Force and a lightsaber. You okay with that, Jason, right?
I like, give me more of it, you're just going up against these crazy God of War sized enemies at some points, catching missiles and throwing them back, plucking a TIE fighter out of the air as it swoops down at you and throwing it at someone. Oh God.
That's actually one of the problems that I had with the game, was that Starkiller is so powerful that when he can just casually reach up and then smash a TIE fighter with his bare hands, what are 3 stormtroopers going to do against this guy?
Thank you, Professor. Talk some sense to this man right here.
I mean, in the first game, you had him pulling down a whole Star Destroyer on top of a planet, and some robot with a shield is going to, make it so that you can't do stuff. It seemed like some of the powers were a little unbalanced. Like, it didn't seem to be consistent throughout.
We are talking about a guy who can shoot lightning from his fingers, okay? And you're talking about it doesn't seem consistent with how his powers should actually work.
You ain't gotta take that shit, Jeff. Don't let him talk to you like that.
I guess what I'm saying is that if you can just reach up and grab a TIE fighter and squeeze it like it's a fucking grape in your hand, what is some robot dog gonna do? Why don't you just do the same thing to that?
It's yeah, okay, I'll give you that.
No defense there.
Yeah, there were some parts where it's just like, why don't you just crush it with your crazy Force powers, and it doesn't give you that option sometimes. But then other times you're just walking through there like this demigod, tearing shit up. But yeah, there are some logical gaps in it, like the clones at the end. Did you play it all the way through?
Oh yeah.
The clones at the end, they're jumping out of their cloning vats, and they
With
all lightsabers, and they're wearing clothes. I'm like, these guys were born and engineered with lightsabers in their hands. That's science. That is science. So, yeah, there's some stuff in there that was a little silly. And spoiler alert, the very end, one of my problems with it is that you have to give a beat down to Darth Vader, which under no circumstances should ever happen unless you're Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, that was a real problem in the first game. When you finally got to Darth Vader, he just fucking kicked the shit out of you. I mean, like, it was a hard fight with him in the first game, whereas in this one, he's jumping away and backing off and throwing stuff at you like a
Yeah.
Are you? No, I have to say, are you? Is there any influence on how just the game looks to you, Jason? Because I hear that it's a gorgeous looking game. We were talking about the other night. It uses like 3 engines. Mostly, it uses the Havoc engine, which is as anybody who knows, I mean, that engine's been used for over like 100 games, and the most that I think the thing is most recognized for is that it just creates beautiful environments. So I keep hearing how beautiful this game is, but there's 2 things here. It's like one, so what is great looking, big deal if the gameplay isn't as great as the visuals, and 2, I think you go to all these different levels in the form of going to different planets and lands, and even though you get to look at them and they look great, you don't really get to interact with them or explore them as much as you would like to.
That's true. It is just ridiculously linear. I mean, it's like a God of War game. They borrow a lot from God of War, and it is just run along, blow up some stuff with the Force, fight some ATSTs or whatever, and then cutscene, and then repeat.
So, I mean, let's get some more opinion from you, Jeff. I mean, you sound like you're okay with the game, but at the same time, you just sound kind of like, well, yeah, it's good, but it's still kind of meh. I want to hear some of the more counter arguments to what this numbnut over here is talking about.
Well, I thought that the game was beautiful. I mean, the engine they were using is great, but less than kind of the linearity of it, because the previous game was pretty linear in and of itself. What bothered me more about it was the fact that it seemed like there wasn't very much diversity in the levels, because there's only about 5 or 6 levels in the game, and the first and the last are the same. And you've got this kind of shoehorned in, Dagobah level in the middle that doesn't have any enemies in it.
That was clumsy. That was weird.
It
was an excuse to put Yoda in there.
Did they put Yoda? That's what it sounds like. It's like they put, and that's one of the things I had a problem with the movies. I was going to ask if they do it in this series, because I haven't played either one of the games. But it seems like they got to, like, as we all said here, shoehorn a Force, something that's recognizable in there. So you say, oh, okay, yeah, that's right. It is Star Wars. There's Yoda. There's Dagobah. There's a I don't know. There's a fucking
Boba Fett.
There's Boba Fett. Right? There goes what do you call those little dudes like little clans members in brown, or monks or whatever?
Jawas.
Yeah, there's a Jawa over there. All that kind of stuff. I mean, did they do that too much in this game?
I actually think they didn't do it enough. I mean, at least on the Dagobah level seemed like such an afterthought, because, I mean, you literally get out of your ship and you walk to where Yoda is and you watch a cutscene and then it's over. Like,
and then you leave Dagobah.
That's all it is. I wish they would have done a little bit more fan service and had some Jawas and some Hoth and some of that stuff, because, I mean, it was, you've got Camino on both sides from the prequel trilogy, and you got Dagobah in the middle, and then in between that, you've got one new world and one level on a ship, and not really a whole lot else.
You'd just be running down the platform, just cutting into every Star Wars character ever made. Like
see, that's I'm really excited about the downloadable content, because it's going to be on Endor, and so you get to kill Ewoks.
You're not going to get to kill any Ewoks. You know that. If anything, there's going to be a guy up there selling Ewok toys and shit. It's not, come on.
I will find a way.
Meanwhile,
I will dedicate my time to killing an Ewok.
And Jason would gladly buy one. Jason would be the only fucking Jedi running through the universe with a teddy bear on his back and shit. So,
dude, no, I want like an Ewok skin coat.
like a fucking coonskin cap, except it's an Ewok hat.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's my nub. Sing that song now, you little rug. Your bath mat.
I also hear like complaints about the length of the game is 6 hours. I mean, some people say that that's fine if the gameplay is engaging, and some people say, no, I want it longer if you're just going to, like, in this case, give us just a kind of a hack and slash or something that's just a little more, again, immersive in its gameplay.
Yeah.
I mean, what you guys feel about that? 6 hours, right? You can finish this on a regular setting.
Yeah, I was like,
about
it's over? I was really surprised. Yeah. And I thought, okay, I'm fighting Vader right now. This must be it, right? And it was done. It was disappointingly short.
It's almost like Darth Vader just came out. I'm tired of this. Let's just get this shit over with.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, let's fight.
Yeah. But there were some really epic scenes in it. Like you've got these free-falling scenes that I really like, where you're falling for just this absurd amount of time. Like it's almost like in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, where they're falling and screaming. Hey, Nick's there, guys. Did you know Nick's here?
Yeah, you got him with that one. Like all of a sudden,
Nick... 21 questions.
Yeah, right. You're falling for this. Ah! But,
That's my favorite scene.
But it's really cool because you're fighting all this stuff as you're in this free fall dive, and TIE fighters are flying at you, and you're blasting them with the Force. And at one point, you are crashing a ship into the planet Camino, and it's just like this kamikaze moment. It was epic. It was just like the craziest over the top Star Wars movie you could imagine.
I think that the starship crash was probably one of my favorite parts because you had to literally move other starships out of the way with the Force, and it felt just immensely powerful.
Yeah. Well, one of the other epic things was something that was they stole blatantly from Arkham Asylum. There's a fight in there. I can't remember the creature's name. It's that giant thing that you fight in the arena.
Oh, the Rancor?
Oh, yeah.
No, not a Rancor.
No.
It was like there's a little joke in there. I don't want to spoil it for people, but yeah, about the Rancor. But there's this thing that just dwarfs a Rancor, and it is exactly like the Poison Ivy fight in Arkham Asylum.
Oh, it's like a big plant type thing with
no,
tentacles or something? Or?
It's not like it's not a plant or anything like that. It looks like kind of like a Rancor, or it looks like the Cloverfield monster, but it's the way you fight it. It's just like the Poison Ivy fight in Arkham Asylum, and it's also incredibly frustrating, just like the Poison Ivy fight.
Gotcha. It sounds like from what everybody's saying here, like at the very least, the game might be a slight disappointment, but you can get some entertainment out of it. I mean, it doesn't sound.
Yeah,
it was immensely satisfying. I just was surprised when it ended abruptly.
Okay, because it sounded like when I was reading reviews of this, and because I was thinking about getting the game myself and playing it since it was so short, but I just kept hearing like several reviews where they just said, it's okay, it's just mediocre. But I mean, it doesn't sound like it's a terrible game from either one of you guys.
It's definitely worth playing, but I wouldn't buy it. It's not full price because there's just not enough content there. I don't think.
Yeah.
I bought it on PC for $30, and for $30, I thought it was a good price.
That's worth it. Yeah. So I got an Xbox for $60, and I don't even know. Is there any multiplayer on there?
No.
No.
Yeah, there's some challenge modes to like beat a certain number of enemies in a certain amount of time, but that's the only additional content outside of the main game.
Just like Arkham Asylum, yeah.
So
yeah.
And that's good. It bears mentioning that you guys played it on different platforms because you played on the Xbox, Jason, and then Kevin, you played on PC.
Right.
And what about you, Jeff? Did you play it on the
PS3?
PS3? Okay, so and all of those I think are developed kind of the same way because they say there are like different things about these games depending on what console that you're on. I think the major consoles and the PC versions play the same. The Wii version, nobody played it here, but if you play that, I think that there's some different things in there, like some bullet time features that are in the Wii because they wanted to like make the game play to the strengths of whatever console it was on. So you're going to get a slightly different experience on the Wii game than what we're talking about here. But overall, it sounds like it's a game that's worth paying about $30 for. So if you get it at a bargain or even in a bargain bin, then that's good. But nobody here says full price, not even bitch-ass Murph over there. So
yeah, I enjoyed it, but there's just not enough there to justify a full-price game. It was kind of disappointing in that respect.
Awesome.
But what would you guys want to see? Corey, you mentioned this earlier. What would you guys want to see in a Star Wars game?
Oh, okay. You know what? I am going to say what I want to see, and people are going to think that I'm trying to make a big joke, but I am not. And I think that this game would sell like crazy if they did it. And just bear with me.
Is it Wookiee Pimp? Because I've always
How did you know?
That's what I was going to say.
God damn it. You took my idea. No.
I have a dream.
Well, I hope that you're serious about that because I'd like to see a big Wookiee going around slapping bitches. But my game, I would love to see them make a joke game, but still a game that played serious. Sort of like they did with Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare, where they took a serious game, added some downloadable content to it, and played it like as a joke. I mean, it was a fun joke, but they didn't take it that seriously. I want to see a Star Wars game where you have Jar Jar Binks being picked on, being messed with, people giving him shit, and one day he just loses it and he becomes this character like you see in The Force Unleashed. Jar Jar Binks just gets someone there like, I can't take this shit no more, and he just goes around and becomes the baddest motherfucker in the universe, man. He's like
taking down Boba Fett.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, he becomes like Han Solo, but more of a badass, man.
He's gonna fuck some shit up.
Yes, man, I'm not bullshitting. I want to see that game, and I think
Turns
that
into the
it would be.
Punisher.
Yeah, he becomes like some sort of bounty hunter, man. He's tired of taking shit, and people think he's underestimated. Goes off and get a little bit of Jedi training. He's just like, fuck this, I'm going rogue on all you bitches, man. So yeah, I'm being serious about that. I'm dead serious. I think that game would sell fucking millions, man. That game would get so much hype if they did that. Take the most hated character in the Star Wars universe and make him like just an overnight hero. Fuck
You
yeah.
make it like a Black Dynamite, like Jar Jar Binks,
Yeah,
Jar Jar Binks.
Jar Jar. Yeah, he's a bad motherfucking Jedi. Yeah, man.
Yeah, and then you can have make it give this Black Dynamite vibe to it, but you got to put Lando in there. You got to put Lando.
Oh yeah. Oh man, that would be so great if Jar Jar showed up like in Cloud City and Lando's like, Jar Jar, my nigga, what's up, man? Come on, man. They go in there and start drinking Colt 45 and start having sex with all kind of white chicks and stuff. Like, man, you can't tell me you don't want to see this game. Shit.
It's starting to sound like a robot chicken Star Wars.
Hey, man, look, I'm telling you. And you know what? I should get paid for this right now because somebody's going to take that idea and do something with it. They're going to either make a little movie out of it or they're going to make a game out of it. And hey, you bitches heard it here first. So,
Well, did you guys ever play on the PlayStation 3? It's a downloadable game called Pain, where you're just launching that poor bastard into buildings and
Yeah.
trying to tear shit up. I think they should do that with Jar Jar, where he's this projectile that you launch in a giant slingshot into various diabolical things, and he just screams and gets all broken and bloodied. And
we could do something like that with Angry Birds. Just replace it with Angry Jar Jar. Just launch him off and just in a slingshot and just beat the shit out of him every now and then. I don't know. I mean, like I said, mine was a serious suggestion. But anybody else have any? Because I do want to see a really kick-ass Star Wars game come up. That's not like a Knights of the Old Republic. And I don't know. Maybe they should just make a third game of this one and take all the complaints and just make a really badass, epic rogue rebel game.
I want to see a sandbox game. Where it plays like Red Dead or GTA or Fallout or something like that, but has some elements of the gameplay of Force Unleashed, and running around on Tatooine or and just doing various jobs. Maybe you're a bounty hunter or something like that.
I would love to see a game. You're right, Jason. A game where it just takes place like on Tatooine, but it's kind of like a Western. But it's done with a badass bounty hunter, and you're going around looking at all of the despicable characters like you saw, like I don't know, like in the when you were in the bar in the first Star Wars,
Palace, or in the cantina, right, just where you can run around and explore all of that, but kind of like in Star Wars Galaxies, but it doesn't suck.
Yeah. Man, look, we're throwing out all these ideas. I like this, man. We should fucking write. We should just make that trip like in that movie Fanboys and just mob George Lucas's home and just give him our ideas. Anybody else got any ideas though?
Well, when I was playing Force Unleashed 2, I thought that they really missed an opportunity to take Force Unleashed 1's because there's been games over the years that have had the same kind of you walk into a room, there's 10 stormtroopers and you're so overpowered you just mess them up. I was thinking they should have just upped the ante and said that, when you open the door, there's 100 stormtroopers and squadrons of TIE fighters that you single-handedly have to defeat by yourself, and basically make it so that you're going to give this character all this power to create destruction, then just amp up the challenge so that it doesn't, when you run into stormtroopers in this game, they mean nothing. They just, you blow your nose with them and move on. Whereas, if you had a challenge of a large amount of enemies to defeat at the same time, that, and I felt that they, one of the big problems with Star Wars games, they always try to stay too close to the canon. And it's one of the things that I really like about the God of War games is that God of War is willing to take Greek mythology and just rip it a new asshole with every story they tell. So if they could get Lucas to unclench the mythology a little bit, let them, kill Boba Fett or, kill Darth Vader and then continue the series as an alternate timeline where you have like the first, the trilogy, but tell it from a different perspective. Use this insane character that you've created to make a whole new story. That way you don't have to stay bound to, well, then Hoth and then Return of the Jedi and all that stuff. So.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jeff, completely there. I mean, that's why I would love to see a game, whether it takes place within the time period of any of the trilogies or something that takes place after. I just want to see something where it's not so self-referential. They've created a world. They have species and different character types that you can like see. They don't always have to be somebody that's related to Luke Skywalker or Jabba the Hutt or the Darth Vader or anything. I'd just like to see something that takes place in the Star Wars universe that has no link to any of those characters. You know, maybe you hear mention of something going on political, but I don't want. I would love to. My challenge to them would be do a game or a story or something where we never reference any of the characters that we've seen before.
Well, I think that's
I was just gonna say, what about a game where it takes place after the third film, in the prequel trilogy, but it's about you building up a resistance, like you just had like a massive defeat at the main planet, that's like a giant city planet, and people are scared, they're running all over the place, there's chaos everywhere, and you're trying to build up the resistance slowly. It's all. Well, sorry, what were you gonna say?
Well, what was interesting about that is that was what The Force Unleashed 1 was they retconned the whole Star Wars universe and basically made it so the main character of this game created the Rebel Alliance from scratch. And it was kind of a weird thing because there was already, books and lore and stuff like that about it. And they took the first game as an opportunity to basically build this new chapter of the Star Wars universe with this new character who, in the most insanely stupid story twist possible, Darth Vader and the Emperor tell him to go build the Rebel Alliance, and that's what he does in the first game. So,
is it plausible though?
They did a pretty good job. They did a pretty good job of kind of tying it all together.
Hey, Jeff, I don't mean to interrupt you, but every now and then it sounds like somebody puts a stormtrooper helmet on you. And
right.
I don't know.
These aren't the droids we're looking for.
Yeah. I don't know if you're pulling away from the mic or what, but whatever it is you're doing, when that makes it sound like you're closer to the mic. Keep doing that.
I'll see what I can do.
Okay. He's like, fuck you, man. I do what I want to do.
I don't know what he was doing.
Yeah, but it sounds good right now. So whatever it is that you're doing, that sounds good right at this moment. Keep doing that.
Okay. But I don't know. I mean, that was one of the other things about this game that was a little bit disappointing, was the fact that it seemed like somebody put a lot of effort into the story.
It's going downhill again. It's like, okay, I'll talk like this.
It's okay. We'll straighten it out, man. We can hear you. Keep going.
Was just in the first game, somebody obviously spent a lot of time writing this story that was meant to bridge these two, the end of the prequel trilogy and the beginning of the classic trilogy or whatever together, and that this story essentially broke the Star Wars universe, because if you could just clone 100 Jedi and they're all evil and ready to do your bidding, I mean, hell, where was that in Episode 4?
Yeah, no, it's funny because when I looked at the first game of The Force Unleashed, I was at Comic-Con and they showed a trailer for it, because a Lucasfilm, they always bring the same people out and they just make a big stage production about every property they have coming out, and this was a big one at the time, the first game back in 2008.
Can I ask a question about the clone thing? Like, I don't understand. Like, you're saying that they're building clones that are automatically Jedis in the game.
Yeah, at the end of the game, they just pop out fully evil, doing Vader's bidding, shooting lightning at you, and hitting you with a lightsaber.
Yeah, it's like you've got 100 of these guys. Why are you fucking with me?
Yeah.
It's like, but that's a big fuck you, though, right? I mean, like, I thought the whole point of the Force is that it's something you have to learn over time, and it takes like decades of mastering it. If you have like automatic clones that just like have the power straight away, then there's no. You know what I mean?
See, that's what I'm talking about. Don't even get me into this. When the moment they introduce midichlorians and they start taking liberties with giving clones to Jedi Force, I mean, what was cool about the Jedis is that, man, they're like super monks. I mean, they have to learn a Zen discipline in order to master what they're doing. And now it's just like, I can either be born with it or drink a potion and have the Jedi.
I mean, that's why there weren't that many of them. I mean, like in the whole series, it's just like a few hundred Jedis all across the galaxy, and that's it. I'm like, okay, cool. Only special, only a few people can be Jedis, because nobody wants to be like a monk, let's say, and just spend their entire lives just focusing on one thing.
Yeah.
Whereas in this, it's just like, I'll just clone myself, like a million Jedis. I mean, like, it's kind of like, why didn't Luke Skywalker steal that technology and just build himself up a Jedi army?
Who knows? Because the shit never had it that far planned anyway. I don't care what they say. Maybe that should be the next game. They just reboot the fucking prequels and start all over again.
No. Oh, the prequels. I thought
Yeah,
I thought you
just
were about to
reboot
say
yeah. Damn, Nick he's passionate about that. No. Well, you know what? As much fun as this is, I think we've covered a lot of stuff here. I could go on all night talking to Star Wars stuff, and I'm going to stop right now because that's what we'll do. And plus, I think Jason has his Spider-Man 3 game to play, so... You know,
no, Spider-Man 2 was good. Spider-Man 3 was shitty.
Spider-Man 2 was good. I'll give you that. That was the best superhero game.
But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and let Murph cuddle up with his Ewok doll and play Spider-Man 3 and go enjoy the prequels and all that kind of shit. So, yeah, good going, guys. I enjoyed that. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Death is a natural part of life.
Foolishly, you hold to hope for the life you once had.
Let go of everything you fear to lose. You must.
You think you have a purpose, a destiny.
Uncertain and fearful you are.
You are but a shadow of your former self.
Confused you have become.
Weak and misguided.
Hide not from yourself.
Accept the certainty
Confront your fear.
that all is lost.
Will I ever see you again?